Nice words are not always true, and true words are not always nice. Is that true? Well, haven't you noticed that when a political candidate says something that's really strong and harsh, immediately his surrogates come out and start walking back the words and trying to explain the words? Right? You notice that too? Well, I have the same feeling when I read the words of Jesus Christ saying, hate your father, your mother, hate your sisters, hate even your own life. I said, oh, sweet Jesus, now I have to explain these things. And the reality is that in the Aramaic language that Jesus spoke, there is no equivalence to the word prefer. So let's say that in English we say, I prefer tea to coffee. In Aramaic they would say, I love tea and I hate coffee. So in that context, Jesus was saying, prefer me to your father, prefer me to your mother, prefer me to your sister, to your life, to your possessions, if you want to be my disciple. Leave everything. Pick up your cross and follow me. But in the words of Jesus, there was also a fulfillment of a messianic prophecy. The two prophets in the Old Testament, Micah and Ezra, prophesied what was going to happen to people when the Messiah came. And they said, when the Messiah comes, you are not going to be able to trust your own friends. And your enemies will be within your own household. And doesn't that happen? When the Messiah, Jesus Christ, comes to our lives, and we decide to accept him and follow him, there is a transformation. We are transformed. And in the actions that we do, there is sort of like a light. But the same glow, the same light that brings charity and kindness and love to other people, the same glow triggers the rejection, the criticism of people that don't know Jesus, or they think that they know Jesus and don't follow Jesus. Has that happened to you? So sometimes we are at home with family and they think that we are a bunch of oddballs because we follow Jesus. They think that we are so inflexible, that we are so hate mongers, that we should align ourselves with the progress of the world. So if you have felt criticized and persecuted and silenced, you are in great company. Because our new saint, Mother Teresa of Calcutta, had the same experience. When she decided to abandon everything at the risk of her own life, abandon even her own order, religious order. She was criticized, she was opposed, she was threatened, she was even spat on her face. So that's what happens. So we need to get strength, and we need to have that commitment to follow Jesus. Otherwise, it's going to be like this man that built the tower and he didn't have enough resources to finish it. He was laughed at. But we also need to be prepared, to be educated on the teachings of Jesus and the teachings of the Catholic Church, especially in this time of the elections, when we interact with people and friends and family and we are attacked and sometimes we don't even know what to say. So the United States Catholic Bishop has formulated a document that's called Forming Consciousness for Faithful Citizens, of faithful citizenship. And there is something outside that you can read, or you can go to the internet. But on paragraphs 34 to 37, It's very clear. So I'm going to paraphrase what those paragraphs say. It says, a Catholic cannot vote for a candidate who favors a policy promoting an intrinsically evil act, such as abortion, euthanasia, assisted suicide, deliberately subjecting workers to poor or subhuman living conditions, redefining marriage in ways that violate the essential meaning of or racist behavior. Now, if all of these things still, the mind is not that clear, and you cannot make a decision which candidate to vote for, it says, if the choice of a candidate is not that clear, the decision should take into account the candidate committed to influence the issues that are in line with our Christian values. So let's take strength to follow Jesus. Abandon everything. And we find that the strength on the nicest word that we can ever hear. The nicest word is Jesus. And we find the strength in Jesus that becomes present in the Eucharist. And He gives us His blood and His flesh. And with that strength, may we be brought to everlasting life with Him. Amen.